Okay.
First
So,
question,
well, go ahead.
do I have your permission to video/audio the interview?
Yes.
Where in Newfoundland did you grow up?
Okay. So I grew up in a little town called Point Verde, and it's next to a town called Placentia. It's about 1 hour from the capital of St. John's. And you
How,
can,
how long did you live or reside in Newfoundland before moving away?
okay. So I lived in Newfoundland until I was 18. When I was 18, I moved away and went to work in Labrador City. That was the first place I moved to.
What culture do you identify as? Example, Newfoundland or Northwestern Ontario?
Newfoundland.
Newfoundland. What What is the most famous meal in Newfoundland?
Uh, there's a bunch of famous meals in Newfoundland, but my favorite meal, the one I would think is the most famous, would be called Jig's Dinner.
Jig's Dinner.
Yeah, and it consists of salt beef and usually cooked with a variety of vegetables.
Yes. How long do you live with your parents after you turn 18? Like when do you move away from?
I moved away when I was 18, but I did come back and live with him for a short period.
Oh,
But I don't think I lived with him very long after I was 18. Maybe a year
all right.
in total.
Is that how it is usually in Newfoundland? Like kids
No,
move.
some of my brothers were there until they were 25 or 26, or
Oh, okay.
or
Nice.
older. But
Okay. Right. Do you have any eating/drinking habits that are specific to your culture?
definitely eating is like heavy salt in our diets, and that's because in Newfoundland uh, everything was salted before refrigeration. So, like all the fish that went to Europe and Asia, everywhere, it was all salted cod. That's how they preserved it in order to move it around. And definitely, there's a lot of salt in our diets. So,
Yes.
yeah, salt meat, salt fish, yeah, everything's salted.
Yes. Do you eat foods that are indigenous to your culture? If yes, can you name some of the foods that you eat?
Well, saltfish, codfish, saltfish, uh, shellfish, all kinds of fish really, and like I said, the jig's dinner, all of those would be
What's the best part about living in Newfoundland?
the people. The people are different than anywhere else that I've ever been, and I've traveled all across Canada and parts of the United States, and I think it's a totally friendlier type people. I'm not saying all the people are better than the people anywhere else, but when you drive down the road, even if you're a stranger, all the little kids are waving to you,
Yes.
and everybody seems like it's just more laid back type culture.
What outdoor activities are popular in Newfoundland?
Hockey, uh, rowing, yeah, rowing and racing shells. That's very popular in Newfoundland.
What's the worst thing about living in Newfoundland?
Weather, the weather, yeah. Weather can change, and like they say, you can have 4 seasons in one day,
Oh, okay.
and sometimes in a couple hours you can have 4 seasons. So, and especially the wind, high winds. Wind is constant.
Okay. What's the most important or most celebrated holiday of Newfoundland?
I would say that's specific to Newfoundland, probably St. Patrick's Day.
St. Patrick's.
See, up here, St. Patrick's Day in Ontario is people go down in the evening to the bar or whatever, put on a green hat and drink some green beer.
Yeah.
Down where I'm from in Newfoundland, it's a 3-day event. Like they have Friday, they'll have a garden party, and probably that night a jamboree where everybody can come in and go singing. Just any performer who wants to get up and play something can do that.
Okay.
And then you'll have on Saturday they'll have a dance at night, and but all throughout the day there's music, and they'll have like a garden party with different games for all the kids and everything. And then Sunday is the big thing as well, the same thing, jamborees and serving Irish stew, and it's a big idea, a big deal compared to other places. Maybe I don't know what it's like in Ireland, but I'd say Newfoundland would be comparable to anywhere. It's a big holiday there,
Nice.
where it's not in other places,
Right. What behavior is considered most disrespectful in your culture?
Disrespectful? Probably refusing to eat at somebody's house, refusing food.
Oh, okay.
They would consider that to be disrespectful, I think.
Oh, yeah. Right.
People love to feed you there. So when you go in, everybody wants to try to feed you.
Right. How do you show respect to elders in Newfoundland?
I've never seen the respect showed to elders as I have since I came to Northwestern Ontario to see how the Aboriginal people or Indigenous people are treated. They're treated like the way all old people should be treated. All the elders should be treated, right? I find them very respectful. In our culture, you don't see that. I mean, yeah, you respect them and you listen to them, but I don't think they're treated with anywhere near the respect that they should be. Lots of older people all across Canada, not in Newfoundland, seem to be under supported. They're not given enough money. They work all your lives till you're 60 or 65 years old, and your old age pension is like pennies. It's nothing near what it should be. And I think if you want to see how to treat the elders, look at the Aboriginal people in Northwestern Ontario or anywhere probably in Canada.
Do you think young people today have a sense of your culture?
Yes, definitely. Young Newfoundland people, are you talking about? Or are you talking about
Newfoundland.
Yeah, I think so, yeah. You just go on any YouTube and look up Newfoundland performers. You'll see them from 7, 8 years old playing accordions and things that you don't normally see anywhere, right? So I think it definitely have a sense, yeah. So actually some of my, the neighbors that live next to me, 2 of their kids are probably 18 or 19 now, but they've been performing all Newfoundland traditional music since they were 10 or 11. Right? So there's lots of that.
Nice. Is there anything else you would like others to know about Newfoundland?
I think Newfoundland is a nice place that everybody should probably get a chance, if they get a chance, should go there at once. And the culture is probably I think there's more culture there than probably anywhere else in Canada, and there's 150 different dialects. You can walk around the school, go down and talk to Miss Darling, and she speaks a little bit different than I speak. And you talk to Mr. Osmond, who's not around the school right now, or Mr. Newman, and they talk a little bit different than me and Miss Darling. And Miss Pike talks a little bit different than us. Right. There's so many different dialects in Newfoundland that it's amazing. Where I lived, I lived on an area called the Cape Shore. So you had Point Verde, Little Barsway, Big Barsway, Ship Cove, Gooseberry, Patrick's Cove, Angels Cove, Custlet, St. Bride's, Branch, Point Lance. And I could tell you who was from Branch, and who was from Point Lance, and who was from St. Bride's, and who was from Custlet, just by their little subtleties in their language. And they're all within a 40-kilometer stretch. So I think it's a great place, lots of history there, great place to visit. And they say you'll always know the Newfoundlanders in heaven because they're the ones that want to go home.
Right. Thank you for your time.
No problem.
Really appreciate it.
I hope it helps you.
Yeah.
It's nice talking to you, Sean.